The song we're going to start with is a song that came out of the first round of struggles against GM food and GM crops in this country. I think it encapsulates how we felt then and probably how we feel now.
First you come with a promise, a silver spoon to feed the masses. Looking at your history, you're not what you make out to be.
Take the Flower Back is a grassroots network of individuals which has had an open organising process pulling this together.
Say it's starvation. How can we feed every nation?
I am Dr. Nicola Scott and I'm here today because I really feel like we don't need GM crops in our agricultural system.
You have no rights.
I'm Michael Marriage from Dove's Farm, and I'm here today to celebrate organic food made, and especially bread, made from non-GM wheat, saying that we don't need the GM wheat, and to provide good quality strength and sustenance for all these brave people here who are here to make a stand against things that we don't want and don't need.
Money talks, you really got them.
Francisca Soler, I'm a member of the Fraîcheur Volontaire. It's a movement, a French movement against GMOs, and we came here today to support the anti-GMO struggle in Britain.
And you have no rights. You have no rights. You have no rights to make a claim on this life.
We're taking our knowledge out of people's hands and people's knowledge that has been acquired over thousands of years into the hands of scientists who, although they may know about GM technologies, they're not farmers, they're not food growers, they're not bakers, they're not people involved in sustainable food practices, they're scientists in labs.
We were just wondering. The only advantage GM crops bring is to the seed houses that develop them. The seed houses are there to sell seed and sell the sprays which go with it, and that is their only motivation. They don't want to feed the world, they just want to produce a crop which they can sell to the farmers. And they now have this technology where the farmers cannot save their own seed, which they have been able to do since we started becoming farmers 15,000 years ago.
The farming systems are being controlled by companies today. This is infringing on the notions, on the values, on the philosophy of sovereignty.
Help yourself, 20 hours.
Here you have brought seeds, you have brought food. In Africa we believe in sharing. And this sharing, it's because we believe that the foods and the seeds, everything that we eat is in the communal realm, not in the private realm. But when we do genetic engineering, we put what is common into the private, and therefore we exclude others. The values of reciprocity, the values of sharing, these are the human values that we all need to embrace, but not exclusion, not privatization, not commercialization, not globalization, because we are killing the world by this. We are supporting communities to revive their seeds, their indigenous seeds, to revive the knowledge about them, to revive the whole culture about the seeds, to revive the spirituality about the seeds, to revive the ecosystems that support that seed. This is the way to go, because genetically modified organisms are actually destroying the ecosystems. For us, diversity is enhancing the ecosystems.
Résistance à ceux qui veulent diriger le monde, nous répondons résistance.
The main focus of GM crops is to take away our choice as consumers and as growers, about what we want to sow in the ground, what we want to eat, and it takes away that choice and that power over our food into the hands of a minority of people who own the crops through patenting them.
When your farming system, when your food is being controlled by somebody else, then you are not free, you are not sovereign, because in sovereignty you make decisions about your life.
What happened in Latin America, in Africa or in Asia? People are not able to produce their own food now. Maize, we used to be the main staples of Central America and the whole Latin America. Now they cannot produce it. They are now buying wheat. They cannot even produce their own tortillas because they are buying the tortillas coming from the United States.
And it's my basic human right that I have a choice. I can decide what to take, what to preserve. It's the least I offer tomorrow's world. So I will walk to the places I know where the bird has sung and the wildflower grows. You see, I need to feel the hope that the world descends and not destroy this. You have no right. You have no right. You have no right to make a claim on this land.
The first question is it necessary? Is there a need? And given that nearly 70% of population in Europe does not want this technology at all, that's, a hard thing to do, hard thing to justify the need for it. And as Peter said, the industry doesn't want it. So is there a need? No. Are there risks? Yes. Are they negligible? Jury's out. But actually that risk assessment should be made public. Should be very clear. The need for the trial should be clear. Who's benefiting? Who's benefiting from this? There are lots of questions.
From my research, the thing that really concerned me was the fact that a lot of the decisions about GM crops and how they're marketed, how they're produced, how they're researched, who's involved with funding the research, it happens behind closed doors.
It's not just about agriculture, it's the whole system of production, the governance issue. We got governments colluding on this. Why we have the Minister of Agriculture in the United States coming from Monsanto.
Stop GM! 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 Stop GM!
We are 18 of us here today, and most of us have been sentenced to suspended months of prison. Okay? When you go to court, the media report, so people get aware of the issue.
The Take the Flower Back protest has raised the issue, has put GM back on the public agenda when it wasn't. And now, actually, the protest has grown beyond the discussion about will they, won't they destroy the crop. What Take the Flower Back has created is an upswell in the public debate, an upswell in expression of public concern, and that's great.
It brought the public debate, about GMOs in France, and especially the farming policy. How should it be? I think that if there hadn't been this movement in France, not only the Faucheurs but other anti-GMO activists, I think that we would have a lot of GM maize in the fields like in Spain.
For the British people who are watching this, remember what we all collectively achieved here in this land before. And remember that by standing strong and finding out for yourself what's actually going on, we can rebuild a movement which can keep our food sovereignty and keep the corporations with their biotech plans out of our land. But we are going to have to do it together in solidarity with our brothers and sisters in Europe and across the world until we can be sure that no longer will we ever have to fight this battle again, and that once and for all we can have a world where our food supply is run in the interests of the people and their families, with reference to the interest of the bigger family of which we are all a part, the family of life, which is precious to us and which we will not allow to be contaminated with engineered genes for the short-term profit of a handful of multinational corporations. Thank you. for the age of wage slavery, hungered and homeless and bowed to the boss whose factories killed them and crippled their children, and all for the worship of profit and loss.
Lie, die, die-de-dum, die-de-dum, die.
Some call it futility, they say the future will be what the engine of progress demands. But what called humanity back to reality? We weave our destiny with our own hands. All hands that are ready to hold the line steady, to pull down the fences or pull up a crop, unlock the laboratory, build a home in the treetop, till the driving and
stop. And some call us vandals, and some call us hooligans, and some call us Luddites, and some rent a mob. But we're standing up proud and we're shouting out loud, for the sake of our family, let's finish this job. And when the job's done, and the long wars are over, and we've all recovered the love in our blood, our ancestors' voices will join our rejoicing and sing to the memory of General Lord, and we'll sing to the memory of General Lord, and we sing to the memory of General Lord. Die-dee-die, die-dee-dum, die-dee-dum, die.